I must say that the people we talked to, the Taiwanese people we talked to, genuinely believed what they were saying. They felt, you could feel the concern in their voice. Right. They said, no, we're not doing this because we're afraid of getting a fine. We're doing this because we care about the country. We care about not spreading this disease. And it's what we're supposed to do. We're just going to do it. We're going to suck it up and we're going to do it.
Yeah, a lot of them, the interesting thing is a lot of them are parents. So they will say, I'm doing this for my kids. Because I have kids, and then my friends, they have kids. Okay, and then so I'm doing this to protect my kids, protect my family. So, I mean, we can protect everyone else. So, I mean, I'm not surprised because I'm a Taiwanese. So I noticed this consensus in our society.
You being a Taiwanese citizen, I know you've lived in America, right? You went to school in America. Would you say that in general, the Taiwanese people are more apt to listen to authority and follow the rules than a country like America, where there's a little more freedom, a little more, sorry, I shouldn't say that. Taiwan is a very free country, but people cling to their human rights a lot and they champion them a lot. Do you think that Taiwanese people they follow authority easier?
Well, I mean, in this case, we're talking about individualistic culture versus collectivist culture. Well, in easy English, it'd be like I versus we. It's about me, or team. Okay, so in Taiwan, I think your observation is quite correct. Taiwanese people tend to be obedient, if you want to say, but it doesn't mean that we just follow rules blindly. Okay, if it makes sense to us, we will think about the greater goods. Okay, we will take one for the team. So, but while on the other hand, in North America or US or in a lot of Western culture, okay, most people care more about their own rights. Okay, look at the mask thing, because that's our topic today. You see a lot of riots, protests in Europe, in US about it's my right not wear a mask. So I mean, to a lot of Taiwanese people, I mean, even some of our interviewees mentioned that.
Yes.
Say, yeah, there are some protests in Europe, in US. They say it's my right not to wear a mask. Yeah, we can understand that because you have bigger land, the density is not that high compared to Taiwan. So if you're in the mountain, in the countryside, if you don't wear a mask, of course it's your right. But so for that we understand. But the riots and the protests, a lot of us we just don't get it.
Yeah, it was interesting. I remember trying to bait one of our interviewees, a very nice old lady, and I said, you must watch TV. You see the American public or the European public, and they're fighting for their human rights and saying it's not fair. I said, do you think they're a little selfish?
Yeah, you did.
And I was wanting to see if she would jump on it. Yeah, those Americans are selfish. Yeah. But she didn't.
No, she didn't.
She was very nice. She goes, no, they just believe in something different than us, and that's okay. Right. She was very nice about it.
Right. And then she said, let me add on to that. She said, well, we shouldn't call it selfish. Yeah. She said we shouldn't call it selfish. Maybe they just believe in something different.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really nice of her. Yeah.
I am going to throw something out there that, as we talked to these Taiwanese people and we talked about masks, they were very concerned with the collective good. Right. I'm doing this for the collective good of the country. Maybe they're like, yeah, maybe it's uncomfortable, and I couldn't help but think, and agree with me or not, in general, driving a vehicle in Taiwan is not the greatest experience. There is a lot of traffic laws being broken. There's a lot of what I would say individualism when people get behind the wheel. And for me, it's a very odd situation because I just finished talking to people about how they pull together for the collective good. And I go, well, why can't you do that behind the wheel of a car? Right? Or on a scooter. Like some of the scooter driving antics, are people blow through red lights. They don't pay attention. They don't look left or right. And to me, that is part of the collective. When I drive a car, I'm thinking, okay, I got to be careful for the people around me. I don't want to hurt anybody. It's like wearing a mask. I'm wearing a mask because I don't want to spread the disease if I have it, which I don't. And the same as in a car. I don't want to hurt anybody. So I wonder what happens to this mindset of collective good when Taiwanese people get behind a vehicle.
Well, Mark, I gotta say, you've really been here long enough to see this in Taiwanese people. Okay. First of all, we're gonna admit that. Okay, good drivers, bad drivers, we have that everywhere. Okay.
True.
But it's just that maybe chances are in Taiwan, we might have a bit more free-spirited drivers. Okay.
Are you running for political office?
No. Okay. Back to you. Okay. I understand why sometimes I agree with you. I agree with you. But I think in this case, we shouldn't compare crazy driving, dangerous driving behavior to mask wearing, because driving behavior is more like an individual behavior, and for mask wearing, it's more like a group behavior. And then for Taiwanese people, well, I'm saying this speaking this for myself, for Taiwanese people, we think the threat is imminent, is immediate. Okay, if I don't wear a mask, okay, I mean, I'm gonna get infected, and then my family is gonna get infected. Okay, so, but for the driving behavior, individual, in that case, I get to decide what I want. So if I want to take the chances, okay, if I want to make an illegal ride, it's a gamble. If I got caught, then I got caught. But that's the chances for some Taiwanese driver they are willing to take. So I'm just saying, in this case, the consequences is different, and then the impact is not immediate. You know what I'm saying here?
I know what you're saying.
I'm not.
You might not like what I'm going to say.
That's fine.
But
agree to disagree.
What you are saying to me is exactly the same. Because wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, there are laws in place that would like to push you to the direction of wearing a mask because there's a fine if you don't. That's an individual choice. You don't have to wear a mask. You can take your chances, maybe get fined, maybe get the disease. When you drive a car or a scooter, there are laws in place that tell you what the speed you can drive, traffic laws, and you once again can take a chance. You can break the law, and the consequence is maybe you get caught by the police, or maybe you kill somebody. So for me, the overarching feeling behind COVID and mask wearing parallels a lot to driving, because my individual actions behind the wheel of a car can affect the collective. I can kill somebody else. My individual action of not wearing a mask, if I can transmit the disease to somebody else. So I'm not saying that they are exactly the same, but the mindset to me is the same. Because I know that Taiwanese people really believe in the collective mask wearing is helping the country. I would like to see that shift to the collective mindset of let's drive a little safer to make our country safer. That's it. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to call out every bad driver. I'm just saying maybe a mind shift. And you might say that, COVID is in the news. It's on TV all the time. People see it. They're afraid of it. If you watch Taiwan news, almost daily, they put some scooter accident, some poor person splayed out on the ground. It's there for people to see.
Yeah.
The reaction, the results are real. I just wish, and this will be a topic at some point on our podcast.
Sure.
The traffic and the lack of, discipline behind the wheel. I'm just saying, I just wish I would see some of this great COVID feeling transfer to the driving that's here.
Okay.